Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our first year experience podcast. My name is Natasha Gonzalez. I'm a student success guru. If y'all don't know, this is my first time hosting myself. This is kind of crazy. So if I mess up, I'm very sorry. But joining me today, we have my wonderful co-hosts, Garcia and Jerry. And we have two very special guests from the Learning Center. They are both academic coaches. We have Isabel Carza and Leslie Garcia. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves for a little bit?
Okay, I'll go first. Well, hi, my name is Isabel Carza. I'm currently a senior majoring in civil engineering and minoring in legal studies. I actually attended SCC first, so I took my first final weeks at SCC, and then I transferred to UTRGV in summer 2019.
So hello, my name is Leslie Garcia. I am a junior here at UTRGV, of course. I'm majoring in civil engineering. I do want to say that I've been a part of the UTRGV system since high school because I did take dual enrollment courses. But yeah, so that's a little about me.
That's awesome. I did civil engineering for like a year and then I was like, this is like way too much math. Well, kudos to you for like sticking with it and like almost graduating. Congratulations. Both of our guests talked a little bit about like finals. So that's like our whole topic for today is about finals and like kind of how we treat it or like our experiences with finals. So does anybody have like a very distinct or unique experience with a final that they want to share?
I mean, I'm not very proud of that story I told you, Natasha, about my final. But yeah, no, I mean, I feel like I always talked about this, but like a lot of the misconceptions that students have when they come into UTRGV is like, I can do a final by not going to sleep and just staying up like a day before, crunch time overnight and studying like weeks of coursework in just one day. And I don't think that's effective. And I definitely did that as a freshman. And I wish like I actually utilized the resources from the Learning Center and like spoke to a tutor or an academic coach about like exactly what I should be doing and how to prepare like actually effectively. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I definitely had bad experiences taking finals back then, but that's either hearsay or hearsay. But yeah, I definitely like wish I had like a guidance, someone to guide me. So maybe our academic coaches might have something to say about that strategy, and if it is effective, maybe we should be staying up weeks before the exam.
No, please do not stay up. Get your 8 hours of sleep. I promise it will be beneficial to you in the end. No, but like, that's very funny because I did that when I first entered UTRGV, my first final week. I tried doing that for one of my math courses. This was one of the advanced courses that we have to take in civil engineering. And yeah, no, I was like, I should have just went to bed. I don't know why I stayed up just to like do awful on that final. Luckily, I still passed the course with a B. But I just like, no, I was like, no, no, no. You get your sleep. Make sure you all get a good breakfast. Make sure you be prepared. And honestly, like you were saying, I wish I went to the Learning Center because that would have just been, they have really good tutors, especially in the math department. They have really awesome tutors that will gladly help you. And I think sometimes students just don't know what to ask, really.
Yeah.
Because
So,
I know
as like academic coaches, what do you recommend that students do ask? Like when they go, so they're not like they walk in, feel super intimidated, and just walk out.
like for me, I feel like so what I tend to do sometimes, especially if I don't understand, like I go over like the unit, because luckily sometimes my professor will just put it on Blackboard, like all the stuff that we've been going over in folders. So I look at it, I try to go through the PowerPoint and I'm like, yeah, and I start circling stuff like, okay, I don't understand this. I don't know this process. I don't know this. And usually I write it down. And then when I would go to the Learning Center, I'll be like, this is the stuff I do not understand. Can you explain to me how did they got to step from A to C?
Yeah, because sometimes we're lost in a class, but we don't even know how we're lost, or we don't know how to begin to even ask. So maybe like having, like you said, like having an outline of what you want to know or the things that you're confused with from your class specifically.
Yeah, because I think maybe some students are still under the impression that like, oh, if I go to the learning center, they'll help me like kind of do the homework for me. They'll give me all the answers, but it's like that's not what it's there for. It's called the learning center for a reason. They're there to help you learn the material. So yeah, I think that that's a great tip because like Grayson was saying, it's kind of like that quote, I don't even know what I don't even know. Like so like understanding what it is you don't know so they can help you like learn it is yeah. Um does anybody else have any tips? Have you guys gone to the learning center, Jerry and Grayson?
I have gone. I went, I think maybe last year before the whole pandemic, and it was really helpful. I was having trouble writing a paper, so it was kind of like for an English class. And they're really like the way they helped me was really helpful because it was kind of like helping me understand the paper as a whole and kind of like what I want to say with it, instead of, I thought maybe it was going to be like, oh, don't use this word or use like this word that's better, or your sentence is grammatically incorrect or whatever. But it was kind of like an understanding of the whole, what I was trying to learn and understand with the paper. And it was really cool. And the person that helped me out was really, really helpful and patient with me too. It was a really good experience.
That's really good. How have you guys like prepped for finals in the past? I know Jerry shared his experience with pulling an all-nighter, but do you guys have any other like rituals or ways you prep beforehand? Some that are maybe more effective.
So me personally, I like to make sure that once I'm studying, I stay in the zone. So to do that, I need to make sure that I have like a productive study environment. And for me, I make sure that my room is clean and like I have like a good playlist and everything, right? I get in the zone, right? And I kind of, once I start, I won't stop, but I know it's different for everyone. And that's when you guys can start going into different studying techniques. I know that there's like the Pomodoro or I don't know. And yeah, and from that, you kind of just like look over the material, kind of determine what you know, what you don't know. And then again, like we were already mentioning, if you don't know it, then go head on to the Learning Center and they'll help you, right? Like everyone there, very helpful. They're students just like you. They know what it's like to go through these finals and then maybe even so the classes, right? So again, I would encourage going to Learning Center and then being productive with your time and studying.
And I found, like for me, I think if I'm completely alone, I kind of get distracted more easily. So I think I'm a bit different in that way. Maybe some students that are listening right now might be too. I would recommend like studying with someone else that's taking the class. And right now it's a bit hard since we're all kind of at home. But I found in some of my classes that having like a group chat helped a lot to kind of know what's going on, and having like a study time, like set this time for studying and kind of like help each other out, kind of like quiz each other or like ask each other questions about the class or whatever. I think that helps a lot. Well, it helped me a lot.
Yeah, for me, so I feel like in high school I didn't really have to try to study because like most of my classes were really easy. And then so when I came to college, I wasn't really prepared with any like actual like study skills. So like I actually had to learn, and it's like I actually had to apply myself more and actually study. So I found for me what works best is like taking notes and like writing the PowerPoints down, because like if I have like the whole chapter when I'm reading it, sometimes I find myself like my eyes are reading the words, but my brain is like daydreaming and thinking of other things. So if I'm like copying and writing stuff down, like both my eyes and my brain are engaged and focused instead of like off in la la land.
Makes sense. And it's true. I think we come from high school, and it's like it's in high school you go to class every single day, and every single day is kind of preparing you for the test. And in college, it's kind of like they give you lectures and the rest is up to you. Like you have to make your own time to study. And that's, I think, a bit of difference that kind of Natasha was talking about, and it is a bit hard to kind of jump from one to the other.
Okay, I want to know how you guys feel about like finals that aren't technically like tests, because I know even now, like when I think about it, like finals are like most people think of it's like, okay, I'm taking a test, and now that we're not in person, most of them are probably locked down browser with the webcam, with the mic. But some students still have, like me, I'm an English major. After like my core, most of my classes, like the tests are all essays. And my minor is mass comm, so most of my test finals are like projects. So like, do you guys have any tips for like navigating that? Like for our finals that aren't specifically tests?
I think so I'm a mass communications major, so most of those courses that kind of revolved around non-traditional ways of finals. So like, for example, all my TV production classes, like our professors were like, just letting you all, like on the first day of class, they were like, just letting you all know, you're gonna have a 20-minute like video that you have to produce, edit, and like everything that's due it on the last day of class. So just keep that in mind. And what helped was starting working on that as soon as possible, like not procrastinating, not waiting until the absolute last minute, because unlike lots of other classes, those finals you can start doing like immediately, like right from the start of class. As long as you like kind of already know the fundamentals of the course, like you could start already working on your finals. And just not procrastinating is like the major is the major kind of advice that I can personally give, because unlike an exam that you can complete on Blackboard through lockdown browser in under like 60 minutes, for those kinds of classes, those projects physically they actually do take days. They do take weeks. Like there is no way, trust me, there is no way you can edit and produce like a 1-hour TV production film reel in a day. There's just no way. Like, how are you going to do it without it looking like horrible? So it's like a very it's one of those things you develop when you're a junior, or hopefully earlier, but it's one of those mindsets that you quickly get instilled with, where you're like, no, I can't procrastinate anymore. Like I'm an adult, like I need to start actually focusing on this. And it was like a turning point in my college career when I was like, okay, I'm not procrastinating anymore. And that's like the major piece of advice I can give. If you are like if you can like physically start working on your final that early on in your like course, like definitely do it.
I think that's a great piece of advice, but it's probably like the hardest piece of advice to follow, because it's so easy to just be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it on the weekend. I love to tell myself that I'll do things on the weekend, and then I never do. Like I have to do a book report by the end of next week, and I keep telling myself I'll do it tomorrow. I'll read the book, and then I haven't, so I actually need to like write it down, like 20 sticky notes later. And it's like, okay, I'm sitting down. But yeah, I feel like that don't procrastinate, y'all. Does anybody else have any like tips or plans for that? I know you guys, like Isabel and Leslie with civil engineering, is it more like tests, like fill in the blank, double like?
Yeah, it's mainly like multiple choice, fill out, and then it's always usually like on Zoom, where they have to have our cameras on, or like the lockdown browser. But I actually have one final where it's a paper. And something that I learned back when I was a freshman was, especially when like what Jerry was saying, like start on it early. And I would always go to either the writing center or even to my professor themselves, because I would always ask them, because they're the ones grading it. So it's better to get their feedback. So I would try to get my rough draft, and I would always go to them, and I would just get their feedback, and then later on I would apply it, and then I'll be done. And I always be like, yay, I won.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice. I think some professors even like encourage it. It's like, I want to see how you guys are doing and steer y'all in the right direction. So that's a really good.
Yes, and that actually helps you later on because like they're gonna remember your face. They're gonna remember, oh yes, you're the one that would come to my office hours and be like, oh, and that's a great way to build like connections that will help you later on.
Mhm.
Um, does anybody else like want to contribute to any other tips? I'm trying to think, but I feel like finals are just those things that like take everything out of you. So like does anybody have like any tips on like how to like keep motivation during like finals? Like do you guys like go get your favorite drink, like your favorite coffee, or like have your favorite snacks with you? How do you guys keep motivated? I know I can't have snacks with me because I eat everything in sight. So you guys like do like does food and snacks and like drinks like motivate you to keep like studying, or what kind of like study are y'all?
I feel like I've done that. Sometimes I make like a bag of popcorn, and I'm reading something like a book or whatever, and sometimes I go like, oh, I can't eat another one until I finish like this paragraph or something like that. Like I kind of reward myself, and I think it helps a little bit. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree that it's important to reward yourself, but I mean, you have to make sure that you're putting in the time and stuff for your finals, preparing yourself for them, and not kind of getting away with, oh, I did a little paragraph on my report. Let me go take a 2 hour nap, 3 hours, because a 2 hour nap could turn like quickly into 6 hours or so, So you gotta make sure you limit yourself on your rewards. But I definitely agree that you should be rewarding yourself, and especially taking care of yourself in the whole finals week process.
Yeah. Sleeping good and having a good breakfast, and not like burning yourself out. I feel like that can be very detrimental.
Definitely.
It felt just like yesterday when we did our podcast based on midterms, but now we're changing the tone a little with finals, which I think is like, I think finals personally is a lot more intense just because you're not, I feel like with midterms, there's a tone where it's like continuing your education and kind of like reviewing a little bit about what you did before like the semester or like in the middle of the semester. But finals takes that and everything else you've learned after that and combines it into like one huge exam. And I feel like it could be a little daunting for like students to like get a hold of, and especially coming from high school, like that could be a little scary because you're moving away from like your standardized tests and like your little projects in class to something like you know I don't know, just very scary. And it can be scary for a lot of students, but I think as long as you make it clear with, like, I feel like if you have an issue with like your class, like one of our academic coaches said, like you should talk to your professor. Like professors have office hours for a reason. And if you feel like you just need clarification on one thing they said in lecture, or like how they got from point A to point C, like you said, like a simple question in an office hour could like mean the difference between you passing, I feel. So I think utilize your professors, and you'd be surprised on how much they would be willing to like help you. um, but yeah, I there's definitely been a few courses, especially since I've started taking English courses, which are less of memorization and like standardized tests that you have to do on Blackboard, and more of like either you understand the literature or not. So it's a lot like scarier. So I have to like, I made myself available to like talk to these professors and like out like in their office physically when I used to, when it used to be in person. And I would sit down and just be like, today's lecture, like, I don't understand, what did you just say? And they would just like would laugh and be like, it's okay, don't worry about it, like let me explain to you exactly like what I said in layman's terms. So I would say try to talk to your professors during their office hours, and try to see what they like could recommend you to do. Either it's sending you to our academic tutors or another outlet on campus. Like I feel like they would know best on where to send you. So that could be a great starting point if you like need help on what exactly like you should study for your finals.
Mhm.
Yeah, right, because they're the ones that make the test. Just saying. But yeah, I think these are all really good tips. And now it's like, I guess the part where we could talk about how we're having a event, a study day where we encourage all students to come and attend. It's gonna be on Wednesday, April the 28th from yes, the 28th from 2 to 4 p.m. And so we're gonna be inviting some wonderful, I like can't like rave about them enough, the academic coaches who are gonna help us and like be present. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can ask them for like assistance, and they can help you understand the material better. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. We've been planning it since last semester, so like we're excited to finally have this event like come through. So we're having a study day where everyone can just come, chill, vibe. And like Gerson said, he can't study alone. This is like the perfect place for students like Gerson who just need a place to see other people while they're studying. So yeah, I hope everyone watching can or listening, because this is a podcast, right? Can come to our study day. Does anybody have any like final thoughts, anything you guys, other tips, or like not plans, but other information revolving finals that you guys want to share? No? Okay.
I was waiting to see if anyone was gonna talk, but no, but we also have another program which is called Peer Coaches. So what they do is I feel like I'm gonna mess this up, but I think you can either look them up on Facebook. I can't remember like how to get in contact with them, but what they do basically is you contact them and then they help you plan on one-on-one. Like they'll help you develop like test taking tips and all that. And that will help you. So I definitely recommend, like if you're having a little bit of trouble and you want extra help, I would definitely recommend reaching out to the peer coaches. They're awesome. They will help you succeed, I promise you.
And so I assume something like that would be like as soon as possible, because finals are so close. They might get booked up real fast. So reach out to the peer coaches. We'll put like all the information when we post the podcast, like of how to get in contact with them. But thanks for sharing, Isabel. We thank you so much, Leslie and Isabel, for joining our podcast today. They were you guys are both amazing, wonderful academic coaches, and you guys do a lot for our UTRGV community. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I think this was a great session full with some wonderful tips on finals and getting ready for them. And I think that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you for watching or listening to our First Year Experience podcast, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.